Hi all, I have another fascinating encounter to show you, a notable game between Reuben Fine playing white and Robert James Fischer playing black, Bobby Fischer. D4, this was played in the Manhattan Chess Club, New York, 1963. So it's a special set of 5 encounters actually, and we've already seen 2 on the channel, and I'll put them in a playlist. So here, in this game, D4, Fischer played knight f6. After c4 we have e6, and after knight c3 we enter into the Nimzo-Indian defense. White plays the Rubinstein variation. So the Rubinstein variation is this move e3, which voluntarily closes in the bishop, of course, but it's known to be pretty solid and reliable. Black now, usually in this position, just castles or plays c5. Fischer's choice is a bit rarer. It's the 4th most popular move. D5, just trying to mark out the e4 square, light square pressure. And also it's not just marking out e4, it's putting pressure on the c pawn. Now white played a kind of little gambit here, knight ge2, gambiting the c4 pawn, which makes the game particularly intriguing. Now here Fischer actually took it. Usually players with black in this position ignore that. They usually castle, just trying to keep a lock on e4 from white. So a bit of a risk, quite a rare continuation to actually take here. Only 13 games in Livebook compared to over 2,000 with simply castling here. So now white plays a3, trying to justify knight ge2 to recapture without any structural damage and have that bishop pair. We have bishop d6. And now, of course, white is free to play e4. And this really is potentially a good position for white with this centre. It seems Fischer maybe have been banking on e5 to put dark square pressure on white's position. But now an excellent move from white, f4. So putting great pressure on the e5 square. Now if takes here, then e5 is simply winning a piece, basically. So Fischer actually took on d4, hitting the knight, and after queen takes d4, he hits the queen. Queen takes c4, and now black castles. And this is very interesting, of course, because you might think, couldn't white just play e5 here? It's a bit dangerous here with the king in the centre. This wasn't played. Bishop e3 was played, but before we look at bishop e3, let's look. e5, bishop takes e5, knight takes e5, say queen d4, knight d3 check, knight f2, and this is a very pleasant position for black, a fantastic position for black. White doesn't want to go into this. So white wisely, instead of playing e5, played bishop e3. He's still got this central mobility. Bishop e6, the queen dropped back to d3. Now Fischer tries to exploit these light squares, knight a5, so there's an idea of bishop c4 on the cards here. In this position, e5 was played, tempting as it is. It might not be the best move because now Fischer plays an important tactic. Can you spot it if I give you 5 seconds? Black to play here. Okay, bishop takes e5. The idea that the queen's hanging here, and if queen takes, which wasn't played, then we have bishop takes c3, check, and then take back the queen. So, a bit of a mistake there. Queen b5. I believe this is a blitz game though, so it's not like a long time control. So here, bishop takes c3 check, knight takes c3, and now c6 protecting the knight. Queen goes to g5, and that's a very good square actually for potentially putting pressure on g7. Bishop c4, and it's not over yet. Rook d1, queen e8, and then we have this move king f2 trying to manually castle. Okay, black's a pawn up, but still white has some great resources here. Rook h takes f1. We have after knight c4 a possibility here of putting pressure on the diagonal with bishop d4. This wasn't played, and although it's not actually threatening immediately bishop takes because there's queen e3 checkmate, the possibility of playing for bishop takes f6 after rook e1 makes it a good move anyway to play in this position. It wasn't played. We have instead this bishop c5 move. Now we have knight e4 check. So Fischer is forcing his opponent rather to actually take on e4. Queen takes e4. King g1 was played here. Now we have the move f6 and the queen goes to g4. Fischer plays rook f7. And here now we have rook d4. Very good move. Double attack. Fischer plays check after king h1. This knight is a bit of a problem. Fischer protects it. It's stumbling around in this position. Quite dangerous. So Fischer actually plays queen b3, and here was a great opportunity for white to actually get a strong advantage in this position. An opportunity missed, unfortunately, for Reuben Fine. Reuben Fine actually played queen e6, when in fact, with the loose knight here, tactically there's a great move here which emphasizes black's potentially weak back row, because the bishop's marking out f8. Can you see a much stronger move for white, just out of theoretical interest, that Reuben Fine could have played in this position? If I give you 5 seconds, white to play here, a very, very good, strong move exists in the position. Very strong. Queen d1, hitting the queen. So, if the queen flees, well, if the queen takes, if the queen flees, there's the rook d8 check. If the queen takes, there's still going to be rook d8 check. For example, you know, that's too strong because of the bishop's covering f8. So if g6, that's just losing a piece. Big advantage for white. So it was a big opportunity missed there. Reuben Fine, yeah, he could have put this game away perhaps with queen d1. It's quite dangerous. Reuben Fine in this year of playing these matches, quite dangerous. Queen e6 though, lets black off the hook. Tactically now, although it looks attractive, tactically Fischer plays knight d2, getting out of that pin, holding the queen with the knight, hitting the queen. The queen goes to d6. Yes, this is not good, but the alternative wasn't great either. Just to take here lets black have a great position, forking. So yeah, queen d6. Now just knight takes rook, and this back row is not so weak. After queen d8 check, Fischer is not obliged to take the queen. If he did, then he gets mated. Yes. No, he's not obliged to take that. He plays rook f8, protecting f8 from the other rook, hitting the queen. So there's no bishop takes, so there's rook takes queen. Rook takes, we just take here. And after this, yes, white's lost, completely lost. So Reuben Fine has to resign here after rook f8. So the game wasn't so one-sided as some of the other key blitz games. I thought I'd show you it because, you know, Reuben Fine was actually a great player, and he played very dynamically in this game. Some small slip-ups. The major one, though, queen d1, would have guaranteed a big advantage. So a fighting game there between the two. Comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.